Welcome. My name is Olivia Kreutzova, and I am a stand double for Maya and Dollface in The Strangers Chapter 1. And now you're watching Pop Culture with Pet.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So I'm so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today we are going to be talking all things The Strangers Chapter 1 with Olivia Kreutzova, who plays Dollface and also doubles for Maya in the film. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
You are very welcome. So, as I always like to do to kind of, start things off, especially for first-time guest on the show, where did your love from film kind of come from, to begin with? And then how did you get involved in the world of stunts?
So my love for film comes from my childhood. I always wanted to be an actress, and it's my childhood dream, and I hope that one day it will come true. By the time I got to stunts via Slovak Action Company, that's a company that is providing stunt and special effect for film. Before I did gymnastics, and one of my coaches was a stunt performer, and also the stunt group was training in the same gym.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
one day, the leader of Slovak Action Company, Roman Jankovic, he asked me whether I want to join. And there was like no hesitation. I immediately answered yes. And so I started training with them. And after a few months, the first film came.
Wow, that's like a perfect fit to go right into that, to career where you're already doing kind of like gymnastics and, throwing yourself around and stuff like that. That's awesome. You said you grew up loving, movies just in general. Were there any specific movies or shows that you watched that really kind of led to you wanting to be, an actor when you got older?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Harry Potter is absolutely my favorite one. I can watch it all the time again and again. And I always imagining myself in Hogwarts just playing there. Yeah.
I'll tell you this, like I was born in 1990, so I grew up like in the perfect time when these came out. I remember when the first book came out, the movies. When I was little, I only read the first book and saw the first movie. I just recently, it was this past year, I just finally went through and saw all the movies for the first time, and then now I'm like in the process of reading the book. So I'm a little behind, and I'm like now that I watched them all, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Why did I not, watch these when I was younger? So I kind of missed out on that the first time, but yeah, it's fun to kind of to go through. It's a really cool world, just to be in. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to go to like any of like the Harry Potter worlds or anything like that, but I went down to a Universal a few years ago where they have Diagon Alley and all that set up so you can see it, and it looks exactly like it does like in the movies. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth to watch it
Yeah.
many times and to visit those studios. Yeah.
So in the film, The Strangers Chapter 1, you double for both Dollface and Maya. How did you get involved with the project, and were you familiar with the franchise prior to getting cast in the roles?
So I got into the Strangers via Slovak Action Company and the stunt coordinator, Vladimir Orlov. I'm so grateful for this opportunity because for me, this was, I would say, life-changing project. And honestly, I didn't know the Strangers before, so the plot was new for me, but I would say I could get into it quite quickly.
Now, have you like after you got cast in the role, did you watch like the original film or the second one, Pray at Night at all, or do you still have yet to watch those yet?
Yeah, I still have to watch them.
Well, that's cool that you kind of came in like fresh with not having any like preconceived notions of what you think these characters should act like or how they should, behave. So that's kind of it's cool in a way that you came in not knowing really anything about the franchise. So I was going to ask you too, like what was your relationship with horror in general just prior to working on this movie? Were you a fan? Were you not a fan?
Honestly speaking, I'm really not a fan of horror. I don't like to be scared. And even while I was watching The Strangers Chapter 1 that we did, even though I knew what will happen next, I got scared anyways.
Did
Um,
you did you get scared by like your character at all by any chance? if you it would be kind of funny, like because you knew like obviously you knew like which scenes you're going to be popping up in, but you just scared yourself.
Yeah, I got scared even by myself.
That's great. I always think it's kind of it's funny like talking to that's why I like to ask a lot of, like first time guests too what the relationship was with horror prior to working on a project because sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm a big horror fan, watched a bunch of movies." But then like yourself, you're like, "Nope, not really a fan." And just to be working on a movie like this that, really is so scary just because of, it's something that's more on the realistic side of, it can happen compared to some like other horror movies. It's just always interesting to kind of get the response from you guys. How I'm curious, like, how did you approach playing Dollface when it came to how she moved and acted? Were there any like inspirations you drew from as far as when you determining how you wanted to play this character?
Definitely the biggest inspiration for me was the actress who played Dollface. I watched her a lot, how she understands this character and how she creates it. And then in my stunt scenes, I was trying to keep this style. And even our director, Rennie Harlin, was keeping a lot of attention on small details for the strangers, like to do the slow movements and just taking their time and be calm. I have to say it was a bit challenging sometimes, but definitely a great experience.
Yeah, they all kind of have their own like personalities, like each of the strangers, like in their own way, how they move and act. And what was it like working with Maya Petsch, Madelaine Petsch as well? I say Maya the character, but Madelaine Petsch helping her bring the character of Maya to life overall.
Mhm. Working with Mads and as well as with Ella was a great honor for me. I really look up to both of them, of their acting, and they are both very inspirational for me. And I would say one can really feel the emotions Maya is experiencing in Strangers Chapter 1, thanks to Madeleine's performance. What I was really surprised about how Madeleine is really brave. She wanted to make many dangerous scenes on her own. But yeah, usually then they assessed that it is a big risk for her to get injured, so they took
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, especially working on like, doing like a trilogy of films. And can you kind of explain for people too, like where, you were doubling for both of these characters? Can you just kind of explain what does that mean to be a double for maybe people that aren't familiar with the film world, like as far as like how that works like on a movie set?
Mhm. So when there are acting scenes, usually actors do this. And when there is some dangerous scene where there is a risk that the actor will get injured, then stunt double come out. It's because if the actor would get hurt, they have to stop filming, and of course it can cause a lot of problems and a lot of money. So that's what our role is, and we have also some scenes that are kind of dangerous, but actors can do them safely. And then our role is to provide the safety. So we how to teach the actors how to do these scenes, and then we are providing safety equipment and so on.
Must be fun like getting to kind of I mean do both of the aspects, but it must be fun getting to show like the actors how to, any of the particular scenes that they can, possibly do. It must be fun kind of helping them, get through those scenes.
Yes, how to teach them how to do it safely. Yeah.
And did you learn anything just from like the experience of working, with these guys, working with these different actors, like on the movie, like overall?
Yes, definitely, especially those acting things. We have some acting trainings as well, but not that many. Uh, and what I learned as well is that every actress is different, and I have to approach in different way when I want to teach her something. But yeah, both of them were very, very nice and very kind. So we had a great time together.
that always, I mean, makes it so much easier too when you have like a great, scene partner to work with overall. But yeah, I loved that you doubled not only for Dollface but for Maya as well. So the one doing the attacking and then the one being attacked. What was that dynamic like for you? Because I feel like that doesn't necessarily always happen all the time, where you get to play like the two opposite, characters.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very funny experience getting from completely scared person into completely like calm killer. So, what I would say was making it more complicated was that I was wearing a wig as a Maya. So it took some time in makeup. And of course, the girls from makeup department were not that happy when I came to them a few times a day for me to change from Dollface to Maya and then again from Maya to Dollface. Um, yeah, so, but fortunately, there were almost no scenes where we needed both of them, like stand double for Dollface and stand double for Maya at the same time.
So that makes
Uh,
it a little bit easier.
yeah, but I would say in the emotional and in the acting aspects, it was not that hard to adapt to both of them.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I was just like, I was really curious. Like when I found out, when you told me that you had done both of those, I was like, oh, I just, I mean, maybe it happens more often than I've seen, but I just thought that that dynamic was, interesting, playing the two different sides. And can you just talk about, working with your fellow strangers, doubles as well on the film who play, Scarecrow and Pinup Girl, and how did you guys kind of form that dynamic between the three of you, the different characters?
Mhm. The work with the whole stunt team was, I would say, very joyful, and we had a lot of fun. The stand double for Scarecrow was Matusz Lajczak. We knew each other even before this film. We had a lot of training together, so we can work together. And with Letizia, she was Letizia Fabri. She was stand double for Pinup Girl. She's from San Marino, and we've met for the first time in The Strangers. And I have to say, we connected like immediately. And yeah, when after few filming days, all three of us, we got into the mood of killers and into that emotion, and we could communicate without words, exactly like strangers. So it was very natural for
Do
us.
you, do you have any like just like favorite memories of working with those guys like in particular?
Now I'm thinking of one funny thing that was okay. Letizia knew English very well. Matusz was from Slovakia, so he spoke Slovak and English too. But we had in our stunt team many people that couldn't speak English. They spoke just Russian, so that was very funny to communicate together.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
we were trying to find some
Those
way. And that's the advantage of that, that in 3 months I learned Russian quite good.
I
So
say at least you had some of you guys that like could do, both. So then that way there was, you were able to kind of, communicate like a little bit. But yeah, I can imagine that was probably a little challenging for you guys to kind of like start off the project for sure.
yeah.
From a stunt perspective, what were some of the more challenging aspects of filming The Strangers Chapter One?
I would say that the most challenging part, but it was for everyone, not for just Stan department, was that most of our filming days were during the night. And after 2 months of night shifts, it can be sometimes quite tough to perform in full concentration,
Yeah.
which is very important during each stunt scene. So I think this was the most challenging part.
And especially where you guys, were doing filming like a trilogy, basically like, back to back to back. So it's like, yeah, I can imagine that can be very tough. I guess you don't like think of that initially, but once you kind of like sit down and you're like, oh yeah, I mean, that's a long shoot. And then like just kind of completely screwing up your guys like, sleep schedules and stuff like that. What were like what on the opposite end of that, what were some of your favorite scenes for you guys or just like you to shoot in general?
Mhm. My absolutely favorite scene is in chapter 3, but I can't reveal
Okay.
the deal.
Okay.
But
Okay.
From chapter one, I would say my favorite scene is in the end, where Scarecrow kicks the chair where Maya is strapped to.
Yep.
I have to say, I was really, really nervous because I couldn't really move since my arms and legs were tightened with a rope. But yeah, we of course trained it before, so everything went well. But
Oh,
I was really, really nervous and I was shaking like this
oh no.
during the whole shot.
Jeez. Well, I'm glad everything, went well, but yeah, I can imagine where it's like you're just, you're tied up, you can't really move. It's just kind of like, well, here we go. Let's just, let's see how this, this happens. But now I'm really looking forward to, to part three, where you said that's, one of your favorite scenes is in there. So can you talk about the experience? I mean, we talked, I guess, just a little bit about it of working on the three films back to back like this, because it's not something that happens all the time where you get to kind of step back into a character almost immediately. Usually, like in between filming sequels, there's like oftentimes like like a year break or at least like a couple months or something like that. So what was that process kind of just being, those characters for like what was it? How many days did you guys shoot like in total, do you remember?
50 days.
50 days. So yeah, what was just like that process? What did that feel like for you?
In the beginning, I have to say it was quite messy because we started from the end, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was messy, but I really enjoyed it. After I read the script, then it got clear. So I'm happy that we did it at once, that we could enjoy the whole time together.
Yeah, no, but it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't know sometimes way that they film things like they'll do it like out of order. So I'm sure that probably kind of throws you guys off because you're like, wait, starting here, and then you go back to, like chapter one, and it just kind of, but then like in the end, it all, it all makes sense. And yeah, Olivia, is there anything else that you would just like to say, like overall about, working on the film? Anything that you would like to, just say to the fans, the franchise, like in general, just to kind of wrap things up?
So what I would like to say is big thanks to the whole crew and to Slovak Action Company because it was really a great time and I really enjoyed it. And even when I was watching The Strangers Chapter 1, I was smiling almost all the time because I just have beautiful memories. And what I would suggest for fans or for people who are considering watching The Strangers Chapter 1, just go for it. You will get scared, a lot of fear, a lot of strong emotions, and just enjoy this horror.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the film. I can't wait to see, chapters two and three. It sounds like I don't think they've like officially released dates for the next two, but it sounded like we were gonna get a chapter two this year at some point, and then chapter three is like possibly maybe like early next year or something like that. So, but again, they haven't. I don't think they've released the official dates yet, but yeah, definitely. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think you guys will too if you're fans of the franchise or just like fans in general. And Olivia, I just want to say thank you, so much for taking your time today, for coming on the show and talking about the film. And yeah, you're welcome back anytime in the future. We'll have to get you back on for chapters two and three.
Thank you very much too. Welcome. My name is Olivia Kreutzova, and I am a stand double for Maya and Dollface in The Strangers Chapter 1. And now you're watching Pop Culture with Pet.